Okay, like that IDA bill? We're good.
Okay, we'll move this approval of the minutes. March 7th, 2025.
Let me jump up.
Oh, the
one
Paris.
before that.
We
Yeah,
got
we have Paris still. So with the completion of this audit and the acceptance, Paris is now complete and ready to be submitted. We did put Paris out to you in the beginning of the month. Maureen is going to hit a couple of.
I need you to do the investment report. The one pager.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, we did. So the investment report we have one of these for the IDA, one of these for the LCDC. It's basically an affirmation of what Erica goes through, saying we don't have any investments. It does state the interest rate and the balance in the checking account, and our investment guidelines and policy, which right now would be anything that's essentially risk-free and not subject to loss. The balance as of on this report, Bill's pulling up in front of you.
That's right. Trying to find you. Oh, no. Okay. No, don't have it, Bill.
The balance is $1,106,709. They are fully insured, a portion of which is by the FDIC, a portion of which is collateralized by M&T third-party securities. So we are fully collateralized. The audit does perform that. And currently the interest rate is 0.08% on the 12/31/24 balance. I mean, approval on that. If we had investments or if we had a policy that allowed us to go out and get in mutual funds or bonds or anything, outside of where our normal cash sits, which is with the bank, then we would have more to present.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the New York State Public Authority investment report. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Now you're.
Okay.
Signature.
Yeah, I need Gary's signature. That gets
Oh,
uploaded. That gets uploaded in Paris. Okay. So the Paris reports were emailed out. We did not print them because it's a pretty lengthy document. Bill has it up on the screen though. I'll just walk through it quickly. So this is for the Industrial Development Agency. Pages 1 through 10 are really governance information. So what we're doing here is confirming compliance with policy regulations, that we have certain policies in place, that we've reviewed them within the calendar year, which we did at our last meeting. It goes through board appointments and goes through staff assignments and salaries, which just lists Bill and I at no salary under the IDA since we are paid as county staff. Beginning on page 11, it goes through our financials. So this will match exactly what Erica just went through with the audits. Pages 8 and 9 of the audit, where she covered the statement of net position and then the statement of revenue expenses and the change in net position, that gets carried over here into Paris. So these numbers will all perfectly match up with the audit, and the audit gets attached to this and submitted to Authority Budget Office. On page 15, this is where we report the amount that's been paid down on the bond. So this is that noise bond that was issued through the IDA. So you can see the outstanding balance at the end of the year was $2,780,000. And then on page 16, we had to report the acquisition of the prison. And then beginning on page 19, this starts reporting every IDA project. So we have 41 individual projects listed here. They each get their own page, and it goes through everything from the total invested amount of the project, and then it reports any sales tax exemptions, mortgage reporting exemptions, and pilot payments that were made, and it reports job creation. So we have 41 active IDA projects, represents $740 million in investment that's been made in the county. Amongst the 41 projects, we have an increase of 1,680 jobs. That's compared to what was projected at the time of application was 701 jobs. So we've far exceeded what these companies projected back when they applied for incentives. So if you combine the existing jobs that these companies had at the time of application and the jobs that have been created as a result of the projects, we're over 2,000, about 2,200 jobs. And then at the end of the report, it starts with new page numbers because it's merged in, but we have our procurement report. So it'll say page 1 again. After you get to 61, these are just all each individual IDA project. And this all gets posted to the website. So it's publicly available. And if anybody wants to really dig into individual projects, they'll access this on our website. And then all of the corresponding documents are up there as well. All of the resolutions, the agreements, the closing books. So this is our procurement report. So anybody that we pay more than $5,000 to in the calendar year has to be reported here with how they were procured and how fair pricing was established. So we have 13 entries. You can go to keep going. There you go. So you'll see Bonadeo, Clark Patterson Lee, basically all the consultants and service providers that we work with. We have 13 entries this year. So it reports the total that was paid and how they were awarded. So that's it for IDA Paris. Happy to answer any questions. I can pass this around if anybody wants to take a look at the paper document more closely.
Couple of things just to reiterate, this is posted on our website as well as the last, how many years we have? 5?
Do you remember how many years we had up to 3?
3.
Maybe?
Yeah, two in there.
They're all available. This is what gets turned into the authority budget office. This is oversight. Everything is on there. It's an incredibly cumbersome spreadsheet to work through. The process starts on January 1 and culminates
On Monday.
March 31st when you hit submit. But everything is on there. So if you have anybody out in the public that's asking about projects and whatnot, it's on here. With one exception, that it doesn't have the 25 closed projects yet. It will next year. We do one of these for LCDC as well. You're going to see in a second. And it's a lot, but it obviously makes us do our homework, and it's a great recap for everything that we do here. So to come away with 41 active projects and 2,200 jobs and the investment level, it does kind of gives you a pretty good recap of what we're doing.
So within those jobs, was the solar, when they put the solar fields up, like at one time it was 300 on one.
So the job numbers I just gave you are permanent full-time equivalent jobs, not construction jobs. They do in the year that they perform their project, they do report construction jobs. So those construction jobs were not in that number. But they will be, if you go to any of the individual solar projects within here, you'll see a construction number if they reported any construction jobs.
Yeah, there's a distinction we make between direct jobs, which are the current full-time employment, and indirect, which are ones associated with project implementation or construction.
Yeah, and they're just reported in the year that they occurred. So the majority of these 41 projects are not reporting construction jobs.
Okay, with that, are there any more questions? I hear none, I'd entertain a motion to submit the 2024 Paris report from the Lewis County Industrial Development Agency. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, now we'll go on to the approval of the minutes from March 7th, 2025. There are no corrections or additions. I'd entertain that motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. New business, gateway of the business part discussion.
So I guess I'd hoped at this point, we'd have some firm commitments. I've got, it's probably as firm as it can be made without having the commitment signed. From Armstrong Milling, which is a Canadian company. I think I've talked about them a little bit. They are looking at Gateway Agribusiness Park just to the west of current grain elevator that's up there. They're doing all of their due diligence. We've been back and forth. They did a ton of work with their Canadian engineering firm. So they're trying not to redo or reinvent the wheel here. So they're working with our agency folks at CPL to kind of merge the two projects so that we can get everything together and get everybody on the same page. That's really what's been happening here in March. They did call the other day. They were looking at their realtor and called on another site. And they just wanted to see if it had any, or they could get any traction on it. It's quite frankly in the middle of a residential neighborhood up in Avon. I talked to the chairman about it. He didn't think that zoning would be well received to change zoning there. So especially being in a residential neighborhood. So I got back to the company. I said, there could be an argument made if you wanted to make an argument. And they said, no, we don't. Absolutely not. Gateway is where we want to be. So they're just doing a lot of their due diligence. And I would suspect at any point in time here, they're going to say full speed ahead, let's go. So more to come on that discussion, but I think we've got, I'm not sure how much I told you about the company. They mill oats for pet food ingredients, high-end pet food. They bring the majority of their oats in from northern Canada via rail and bring them here, process them, and then ship them out by a truck. Purina, there's places, a lot of, I do have a map I'll show you, I guess, next meeting, but East Coast, a little bit into the Midwest, and fairly good distribution network. I have a feeling they're buying a lot of acreage just to do this. So I have a feeling that they're probably looking at the bird seed component that they also have to bring. Mention all that. So initial jobs with the milling component is probably talking about 10. With the bird food component, it certainly could ramp up from that. I think they've got about 80 some odd now in their Canadian operation. So a decent little project, and it would help build out that park. So more to come on that. I'll kick right into director's comments if you don't mind. I did send you all an update on the Livingston Correctional Facility. That update I have no new update on at this point in time. As far as the company that was in town looking at the facility during our last meeting when we were here.
If you want an executive session to discuss what you might discuss with what the background of this is and
Yeah, if we're going to go into any details on it, yeah. I guess if you'd like to discuss it more in detail, I'm happy to go into executive session.
you got the email of the basis, but I mean, there's a lot more to this. And
I would that we want to take a position here. We need to discuss.
I think we will.
Okay.
Second, all in favor?
Rapidly ramping up the list for priority one is a project in the village of Dundee. It's a retention project for, once again, nut butter. I've talked about this a little bit. There's a deadline's coming up here today or next week for grant opportunities that would help us fund the upgrade in the water line, or upsizing of the water line in Dundee. Once again, nut butter needs it for fire protection, so we're desperately trying to find a source that can help us pay for it. So that has been kind of the focus for the last couple of weeks. I've also got a rail grant going in formerly for Sweeteners Plus. It's now called Ingredients Plus. They want to do 100 rail car storage yard, which would significantly increase their throughput and employment as well. We're putting in a grant for that. Fast New York, I'm putting in a grant for Gateway. If that materializes, I'd love to have some funding that could help us get some more done up there. What else we got? Those are the three basic ones. The problem is I've got 5 or 6 sources that are open right now. So I'm putting in three programs in 5 or 6 different places. So I've just been busy writing. I did tell you about the Stellar project. That would be interesting with the National Science Foundation grant. U of R, obviously a great partner with a lot of juice. So we'll see if something like that can possibly land. I was doodling when I was listening to the guy talk a little bit, and I came up with the Livingston Campus of Light, LITE, Lasers, Imaging, Technology and Engineering. So we made the branch from Livingston. Horseshoe Solar, this came across the desk yesterday. This one's kind of interesting. And I have not ironed it out yet, so it's premature, but it appears that NYPA is buying up a number of these power generation facilities. New York Power Authority, which is a public authority of New York State. They have some of these facilities already, but it seems like they're buying up some of these new solar entities that are coming together. Caledonia was on the list, so I don't know what that means. I don't know how it affects pilots in the future. I don't I don't really have a good handle on it yet, but I'm digging into it. I just need to see, and it obviously could have some effect on Horseshoe. The gar,
But you did get something from High Banks too, didn't you?
I did not yet, no. Touch base with them. They were supposed to deliver it on Monday this week, didn't get it yet. So good news is that it's still coming, but I don't have it. The Garner sale closed, Fox and West in the James Steel Park. That we took care of. Andrew, was that 2 weeks ago, maybe? Something like that. Yeah, down to Chip's office. We're working on Kleiss as we speak. Jaycox 2, I talked to Deb. That one's trading documents. White Creek, she's given all the documents. I think they're in the developer's hands. And Delaware River Solar in Dansville is in front of the planning board. So I believe that we've made it past the ZBA, which was the major stopgap. And they were supposed to be a planning board, I think, Tuesday. Jaguar Tubular, some interesting traction on this. All of a sudden, we've been back speaking with Taylor the Builders, who's the GC on the project. We understand that there's about 200 shipping containers in the port of Buffalo that Jaguar has equipment stored in that they will be bringing to the Avon site, laying on a pad of stone, something to kind of get that moving. Their financing's in place. I'm working on some creativity to try and figure out the substation, which is a $6 million nut. And I really don't. It was unexpected to them, so we're trying to figure out how we can get that financed as well. The LANL is putting together a rail grant due next week for the rail infrastructure there, and I think that's together and happen. So I think there's more movement in that project in the last 3 weeks than there has been the last 3 years. On the backside of Rilla, yeah. 104 employees, about 75 million. I don't know if the tariffs started really kind of moving some things around. Mhm. The interesting thing is a lot of that rolled steel comes out of Hamilton, Ontario. So they'd have to find, it's unfortunate that it would be that close to Avon to be able to use that as a supplier. But if the cost goes up, then you're going to have to look to the US providers from, I don't know where.
I was by Gray Metals the other day, and there was 2 tractor trailers sitting there, and they had roll steel.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're buying ahead or,
Could be.
Should be.
Yes, that rolled steel is heavy, and they plan to bring it all in by rail. You can put 3 of those rolls on a rail car, from what I understand, and you can only do 1 by truck, I
yeah,
think.
and I think there was like 1 or 2.
Yeah, if there's 2, that's loaded.
They were spread out, so the weight.
Yeah, so that's the intention. It's all coming in by rail, all going out by truck. That I think is, unless there's any questions on anything else going on.
Okay. Turn that to May 5th.
May 2nd. That's a typo.
That's a typo?
May
I
2nd.
will not be here for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Was hoping, well, I'm having a baby on that day.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I will
Congratulations.
definitely not be here. And if I am, something's wrong.
Even if you haven't had the day.
Yes, yes, I will
Take
not.
the day off.
And I never tell you that I'm not coming, so I'm like getting ahead of it.
Making a note.
Yes,
It is May 2nd. Or
May 2nd is
it is
Friday.
May 2nd, it's a Friday. Yeah.
I think I put the 5th in. I must have looked at
And I got that motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye.